Sometimes you stuck in Punjabi, when you try to speak Punjabi, maybe your intermediate level, and you stuck, like your brain freezes, because you try to think the word, you have so much worried about, oh, maybe I would make mistakes, stuff like that. But there would be another kind of people, like probably you would be so confident about a word you're using in a sentence, and it might be the wrong word, it might be so weird word. So today we were gonna talk about top 5 mistakes Punjabi learners make. All right, so in this episode we would include few mistakes, basically the 5 mistakes, like it could made some could made by Punjabi people, like basically the Punjabi people who live in Western countries. They grow up there. They can speak some Punjabi, already, because they grow up in the Punjabi families. But that's the mistake they make a lot. I would talk about this thing, and there will be some beginner people who make mistakes, and some intermediate people who make mistakes. We will talk about those mistakes. So among those mistakes, we will talk about um, the word Appa and Asi. So this is a big confusion with these two words. We will talk about the word O, which could mean he, she, they. So when people use in past, and they most of the time they make like a wrong way. So they use it very wrong way. So we will talk about these two, and we will also talk about other three as well. But before I start to talk about these words, I want to let you know that if you're listening to my podcast on YouTube, so I also created the membership on YouTube. If you want to support me, if you like my work, if you learning colloquial Punjabi, the street talk Punjabi, and it's not like a textbook style, and you want to support me, you can support me through membership. There would be some benefits of though, because I would be posting some other stuff, maybe some shorts only for members. I would be also creating in future uh, the Discord group where you could do basically talk to each other, some Punjabi practice through voice message. We would be also doing some maybe video call conversation with among all the people in the group, so you can have practice. So this is the plan soon when we have enough members, so I will create that. So yeah, if you want to join uh those memberships, you can check out my YouTube. And another thing, if you like my videos, my podcasts, and you want to send me some super support by or super thanks or super chat, whatever you want to say, you when you're commenting, you can also send me that time, so I would really appreciate it. And another thing, if you want to take private classes from me, you can also take private classes from me. You can check out my Patreon there. Even if you want to support me, or you want to check some classes schedule, you can check out my Patreon. Or you can email me personally, or you can also text me on Telegram. So yeah, all the links are in the description. Another thing, I also created another podcast called like a Punjabi Roots and Routes, which is more about the Punjabi culture, Punjabi people. You can also check out that podcast. Link is also in the description. Anyway, now let's talk about these mistakes Punjabi people make. The first mistake, we will talk about the word appa and asi. So I also talked about these words before. Maybe you can search my podcast. I don't know when, maybe 2 years ago. So when I describe these two words, the differences. If you want to go in more detail, make sure you listen to my that podcast. All right. So anyway, I'm also gonna explain in brief here as well. First of all, before I explain this, so this mistake Punjabi people make a lot, especially the Punjabi people. So when I say Punjabi people, so it's not mean the Punjabi people from Punjab who grew up here. We don't make these kind of mistakes. I mean the Punjabi people, the Punjabi ethnicity people who born in Western countries. Um, it's a big problem among them because I've been teaching, I think now almost 6 years or 5 years. So I noticed this big thing, when they use appa and asi so bad. All right. So first of all, the difference between appa and asi is, So when you use asi and apa both mean a we, all right? It both word mean a we. But in Punjabi, there is a little difference when you speak in Punjabi. And most of the people use apa, all right? They don't use asi, you need to use asi a lot as well, all right? So when we use apa and asi, so I would use apa, all right? Let's say me and my friend went to watch a football game. So we went to watch a football game. It's maybe yesterday or last week. Now I'm talking to my friend what we did or whatever. I would use appa, like appa e kita ote, appa enjoy kita, So enjoy kita like we had a fun, we enjoy it there, whatever. So that time I would use appa because me and my friend we both did something together. So I would use asi. Now, for example, I went to watch a football game with my friend like last week. Now I'm telling you the story. You were the third person. You didn't go with us. So you were asking me, or maybe I'm telling you the story what I did with my friend last week. Or that time I would use ਅਸੀਂ like ਅਸੀਂ match ਦੇਖਣ ਗਏ ਅਸੀਂ ਬਹੁਤ enjoy ਕੀਤਾ. So I would using ਅਸੀਂ to you because you are the third person. So basically, when if you are speaking Punjabi, all right. Now let's take example of you, all right. If you're listening it, so let's say you go with your friend anyway, maybe you went on the party last week or yesterday. Now you are going to talk about the same thing about that party with your friend. Let's say you want to say ਆਪਾਂ like enjoy ਕੀਤਾ like we enjoyed. Or let's say you're gonna say ਆਪਾਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਖਾਦਾ like we eat a lot there. That time just ਆਪਾਂ because we both you both guys did it. Now you're gonna tell that story to me. I was not there. Now that time you say ਅਸੀਂ enjoy ਕੀਤਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਖਾਦਾ like we eat a lot, we enjoyed. So that time you use ਅਸੀਂ because I'm the third person. So basically when you're telling a story to third person, you use ਅਸੀਂ. If you're telling the story to the same person you did something, then you use ਆਪਾਂ, all right? So that's the main difference. And the mistake people make, so they say appa all the time. Sometimes it happens with my students as well. It's not like only one student, there's a multiple students I teach. They have big problem of this word appa. So they use all the time appa. So why they use it, I'm gonna also talk about this, because mostly they talk Punjabi, or they listen to Punjabi from their family, their parents. So when you're in the family or parents, they use a lot appa, like appa jana utte, appa, like we will go there. Appa gaye si, we went there. So they use appa because they did a lot of things together. So that time they use appa. And even then, that time when you're telling this thing to the third person, they still use appa. And that's so weird because when any of my students tell me a story, they did something, like I'm in a different country, so we have a class online. And when they say like "Appa ek hi tha," I'm like, what? I didn't do this thing with you. So that time is so confusing. They're so funny. So probably you would be so confident of this word and you're using it wrong, all right? So make sure you fix it, all right? So this is the big problem. So you can fix it. So anyway, so let's move to the second mistake people make. I think this is the big mistake among all the people, like even intermediate level or the beginner. Definitely beginner make this mistake, all right? So the word "oh," which means he and she, all right, or they. So how we find out he, she? So we find out from the ending. I talked about this thing a lot. I'm not gonna explain in detail. So, but in past, this word "oh," so it becomes most of the time oni. Like we wanna say like he ate the apple. We say one save khada, like he eat the apple, ate the apple, one save khada. So in future, if we say he will eat the apple, then we say o save khauga. O save khauga. Now it's o in the future, o. Even in the present, like he is eating the save, we say o save khanda or o save khai janda. So we in past, it's not o, like oh, it's like a oni. One save khada, all right? Most of the time it's going to be one, keep in mind. But it's also going to be O in past if there's a no object, right? Now there's object. What's the object? Object is apple. Object is save, So when he's eating the save, this is the object. So that time you always use oni. So when you would use O in past, so you would use O when there's no object. Let's say we say like he went to the city, we say O shahar gaya. That time we use O, all right? Now there's no object, So or another thing in simple way, you can see basically the things you do feel like while walking with your feet, the word you are using like gaya or aya, kia means went or gone, aya means came. So these words basically, or like he ran, like opajya, uh, so or like oturea, walk. Basically, most of the activity you do with your feet. So that time we use, basically that time there's no object mostly. So then we use O. But most of the time, if we say like he yesterday he drove the car, then we say One gaddi chalai. We don't say O gaddi chalai. All right. If you say O gaddi chalai, that's so weird, and it has totally different meaning. So it has different meaning. If you say O gaddi chalai, so O gaddi becomes that car because O means also a that. All right, it also means a that. So when you say "Oh gaddi chalai," it means that car is driven. That's the sentence. But you wanna say he drove the car, then say "One gaddi chalai." It's always going to be "one." If it's somebody's name, then say somebody's name. Like and you have to put name. Like David ne gaddi chalai. David drove the car. You don't say David gaddi chalai. If you say David gaddi chalai, it means that the David is a car name, David gaddi. All right, like it's a car name. It's so weird, because we never heard the name of David any car, So when you say David gaddi chalai, it's so weird and so funny. All right, let's say if somebody's name is Ferrari, all right, so you wanna say like a Ferrari drove the car. So you have to say Ferrari ne car chalai or Ferrari ne gaddi. Oh, then I say, okay, the Ferrari is a name, somebody like drove the car who is a Ferrari. If you say Ferrari car chalai, so it means, the Ferrari car is being driven by somebody, So that's why. So when in the past, there's always object because in this case, when we say gaddi chalai, so gaddi is object. So the activity we are doing is around basically the gaddi, when we are doing the apple, so the activity we are doing around the apple, we are eating the apple before, now we are driving the car. So when there's object, there's like a verb which is like a happening around that object. That time we use one. All right, make sure one. Don't use o that time. So when we say like oh share gaya, all right, or he went to the gym, oh gym gaya, there is no object. So this gym, it's not object, it's like a place, So when we say oh gym gaya, yeah, but he didn't do, anything, with the gym. So he just went there, But like if we're gonna say like he hit the gym, like he did that, then we say one gym alai, all right, one gym alai, So when I say one, lie means like it has multiple meaning. It means like now you can say like in a more casual way like a hit, you know. So like nobody is like hitting the gym with somebody. Like people say in English like he is hitting the gym or he hit the gym every day, So in Punjab it's the same way like oro gym launda. Launa means here like he do the exercise, So when we say own a gym light, so it means the gym is object. He did something on the gym. When we say oh gym, yeah, now it becomes a place. Like he just went there, all right. So that time when there's a no object basically, or you can say like when the verb is related to your like a feet movement, like yeah, like you just go there, or padya, like he ran or he walked. That time you keep o in the past. But other time if there's object, that time you say oni, all right, in the past. So that was a mistake people make. They use O. They don't use oni. All right. So you need to learn this. This is very important because most of the sentence, I think 90% of sentence, when you're gonna make in past and you're talking about like a third person, you have to use oni. Okay, the third mistake is a beginner mistake, but if you might be an intermediate level, you are making this mistake, you need to correct the word. So that using too formal, like ending with the hai, hun, or sun. If you are using that, this is not a mistake if you're writing, but if you're speaking, that's the mistake. Because nobody say that. You would look so weird because a lot of teachers is teaching you that way. And I don't know why they're teaching you that and why you're learning it that way when nobody speaks like that. If you don't believe me, just play the clips. Play the clips of Punjabi videos, or maybe watch anything. Like maybe watch a podcast. Maybe watch a formal interview. Just forget about street talk. Just forget about normal talking. Bring any formal speech. Of Punjabi. So you won't find this word hai or hun. You won't find these words. These are being used in written. All right, and you're learning these. So like for example, if you want to say like a he, like he works every day, ਉਹ ਹਰ ਰੋਜ਼ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ. Nobody say that way. And you're learning that way. That's the big problem. So we say ਉਹ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦਾ. We just say ਕਰਦਾ. We put like if we want to say like they are working or they works every day, so the formal base is going to be like a ਉਹ ਰੋਜ਼ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਨ. And a lot of people are learning that way and they speak that way. ਉਹ ਕੰਮ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਨ. All right, like they are working. And we don't use hun. All right, or if we're gonna say like he works they works every day, ਉਹ ਰੋਜ਼ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਨ. That's so weird. Don't use hun. So we say ਉਹ ਰੋਜ਼ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ. So we use so in speaking, in speaking, so when we're talking about present tense, so we end with ਉਹ ਰੋਜ਼ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ. We don't say ਹੈ and hun. Keep in mind. And if you're using that, good luck. Because nobody uses that. So that's the biggest mistake. And even in the past, like in plural, like if we say like um just yesterday they worked a lot. So in talking, I would say ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕੱਲ ਬਹੁਤ ਕੰਮ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀ. ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀ, I would say. And the form will like ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕੱਲ ਬਹੁਤ ਕੰਮ ਕੀਤਾ ਸਨ. Sun is so weird, I think. I don't think that use. I think even that's wrong. Like if we say, for example, another example, they are so happy. Oh, bahut khosh sun, not are, like they were. We're talking about past. Oh, bahut khosh sun. They were so happy. This word sun is so weird if you use it that way. So we say kal oh bahut khosh she see. All right, see. So we would use a lot. I think it's not the bigger problem in sun. I think there's a lot of people don't use it much, but the other word hai and han they use a lot. You need to limit these words in present tense. All right. So anyway, if you're writing, yeah, this is not a mistake. This is how you should write. But if you're talking, you need to eliminate these kind of things, hai and han. These are the big mistakes. These are very common mistakes. Even like it happens a lot. Okay, I think we talked about 3 mistakes. Now, fourth mistake is a pronunciation mistake. All right. So the pronunciation mistake, this mistake is basically keep the R sound silent. So this mistake, I don't see much is happening from the people from North America. Like if you're from uh, US or Canada, I didn't see much happening, but mostly from the British, probably Australian, I don't know. But the British people make, because the problem with it is their English. So in British English, most of the time they basically keep the R silent. Like they say, "It's my car." That's all they say. So mostly the people from North America, they pronounce that like it's my car. All right. So when you're pronouncing the R, so you don't have much problem, but the British people, they don't pronounce the R. So when they speak Punjabi, so I'm talking about the Punjabi people, or I'm not talking about the basically the white Gora people. Yeah, definitely they are gonna do it, but I'm talking about the Punjabi people. All right. Even if you see some people, even I see some people from who was second or third year generation. So when they talk Punjabi, all right. So they're keeping the R sound silent in Punjabi. Like instead of saying like what are you doing? So it's going to be like a ਤੂੰ ਕੀ ਕਰਦਾ, if it's your friend, or ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੋ, if somebody unknown or elder. Anyway, to friend you say ਤੂੰ ਕੀ ਕਰਦਾ. If it's a guy, to go ਤੂੰ ਕੀ ਕਰਦੀ ਆ. All right. So I'm pronouncing R sound properly, like a Punjabi Rara sound, like it's a rolling R, you know. So British people, like British Punjabi people who are maybe their second or third generation, not all. I'm not saying not all, because there would be some the British Punjabi people who speaks really good, you know. But there's many who keep the R sound silent. They will say like a "ਤੂੰ ਕੀ ਕਰਦਾ?" "ਤੂੰ ਕੀ ਕਰਦਾ?" or "ਤੂੰ ਕੀ ਕਰਦੀ ਆਂ?" That's so funny because this is how we speak when we are very little babies. When you're babies, you can't pronounce all the sounds, you know. So the babies talk like, so always mostly the babies have hard time to say rolling R. So when they're very little, they say, yeah, "tu ki kadda," you know, like that. That's how they sound to me. Like when there's like a grown up people and they're talking, I'm like, why they're talking like, you know, kids? So not me now, I understand that, but before it sounds like that. I remember one time there's a guy, I don't know what's his name. So he's from England, and he visited here, I think last year or something. He did some podcast here. He wasn't fluent in Punjabi. He speaks really good Punjabi, basically fluent, but he pronounce he doesn't pronounce the R, you know. And I was just listening to his podcast, and my mom say like this, "E banda tutla." "E banda" mean this man, you know. Tutla mean the people who have problem to pronouncing the sound, certain sound. Even they are Punjabi people, they grown up here in Punjab, but they have something in their tongue they can't pronounce some words. So those people called totala or totally, singular totala, plural totally. So my mom said, "Oh, it totala." I mean, no, he's not Tutla, you know. I mean, like he just doesn't pronounce the R, you know. So make sure you have to pronouncing the R, not like an American R, you know. Even if that's the wrong, but this is a little bit better than British one, because British you totally keep it silent, but you have to pronounce rolling R. So it's more close to like a Spanish R. So you have to pronounce that way. All right. This is also very common and big mistakes, you know. So yeah, if you want to make your pronunciation clear, you need to pronounce Punjabi R properly. All right. The fifth mistake is the word tusing. All right. So mostly when you're learning from the teacher, use this word tusing. You know, that's not there's nothing wrong with the word, but it's like a how you use it, because mostly people who was learning Punjabi and maybe from the book and teacher, so they only know this word because that's how teacher teaches, because it's a formal tusing. You know, it's like a more respectful and a polite, and this is so weird when you're using with the younger people. Like if you are, let's say, 30 years old, you are using with us like a 14 years, you know, to see kadon. Yeah, this is so weird, you know. So we don't use this word, you know, because you are using this word because that's what you learn. You know, there's another word for that. That's tung. Tung is a more common word to use, you know, if you're talking to your friend. So basically, tung and tusi means you, right? If you don't know the meaning, if you're a beginner, so it means you. So you would use tung word with your friend, you know, even with like a younger people, you know, you use tung. And you would use tusi if somebody is older, all right, somebody probably the unknown, you know. So this is how you would use to see, you know. So even like we don't use, it depends also on the on the area. Like for me in my area, mostly even the elder people we would use to, you know. And maybe with the strangers I would also use to, but it could be sometimes not good, a little bit rude. So I recommend you to use to sing with the older people, like who are older than you. Maybe you are 30, somebody is like a 50 or 40, whatever. You need to use to sing, and maybe stranger you would use to sing. Yeah, but like when you become more like a advanced level, you understand really good culture, the people around you. That time you could use tung. It depends on the people. Like here in my area, we use tung mostly with everybody because this is how we grow up, you know. But if you're learning Punjabi, I that's what I recommend you. All right. So this was the fifth mistake, the overuse of tusing. You know, there's a place to use tusing. You know, if you're using with the kids or with your friends, that's so funny. If somebody is using tusi with me, like let's say I met somebody or a person, you know, like a restaurant, you know, we become, let's say, friend, or maybe in the gym. Now it's like a more friend, you know, like so that time if person is using tusi with me, I wouldn't feel the friendly vibe. It's like a more formal vibe, or you're keeping the distance, or maybe you're putting respect on me, whatever. So it's not the friendly vibe. The friendly vibe is going to be more like when you would use tum, all right? So yeah, this is the also mistake people. And if you use it with kids, that's so funny because it's so weird, you are not gonna do tussim to the kids. So anyway, so these were the 5 most common mistake people make. And if you are making any of these mistakes, let me know. Let me know in the comments which kind of mistake you are making. All right. So anyway, I hope you enjoy this lesson and learn something new today. I'll be back with another lesson another day.